every single part of your body has a specific message that it's speaking to you. So what is embodiment? To be in a state of the body. So embodiment is the physicality of the body. What do I feel in this moment? What's my body's position? Am I upright? Am I hunched forward? Do I feel expansive? Do I feel contracted? Where do I feel pain in my body? Where do I feel tension? The body's speaking to us. It's giving us signals in the way that we can understand best, which is the physicality, because we're here in a 3D form.
Trust flow, surrender, let go. Trust flow, surrender, let go. I'm the one I've been waiting for. Trust flow, surrender, let go. Trust flow, surrender, let go. Trust flow, surrender, let go. I'm the one I've been waiting for.
Welcome back to the Highest Self Podcast. My name is Sahara Rose, and on this podcast, I love to talk about spirituality, but make it modern, fun, grounded, and relatable so it can actually serve your needs. So today I want to talk about a subject that lots of you guys have messaged me about, and it's how do I be more embodied, radiant, expressed, just at peace with what is going on in the state of the world, and also just in my own life. So if you've been feeling that way, anxious every single time you check social media, it's for a reason, and we're not meant to be living like that. So in this episode, I want to dive into what is really missing and why we are living in this perpetually anxious state and how we can actually make a shift without the whole world changing, but by us changing our frequency. And before we drop into this episode, be sure to hit subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast. That is the best way to stay up to date on the latest episodes. We've got this in video format, so if you're just hearing my voice, be sure to also watch our fabulous outfits on video as well on Spotify, YouTube, or the Apple Store. This is the best way to stay in the flow with future conversations and also allows the podcast to reach more people. So hit subscribe so I can keep vibing with you on all future episodes. Now let's get into this one. So of course, I don't need to tell you, you go on social media, it's shenanigans up in there. It's like this horrible thing and that one, and you got to reshare it. And you guys know this, I talk about this a lot. Our nervous systems were not designed to know about every horrible thing happening around the world. Back in the day, we lived in small tribes and villages. We knew everyone around us. And sometimes there were wars. Sometimes there were famines. But guess what? We would get on the other side and we would have that, exhale that happened when you finally made it. However, now, the moment that one situation ends, or we're not even clear if it's done or not, there's another one, we never get that resolve. So the way that the nervous system is set up is we go into a state of shock, fight, flight, fawn, freeze, but then we need to literally shake it off and recalibrate like a zebra running away from a lion to come back into equilibrium. And when we're on social media and it's one thing after the next, we never get to have that finishing point where it's like, and I'm actually okay, because now we've gone into another conflict, another part of the world, and another demographic. So the reason why you're feeling this way is because social media is literally showing you all of the problems at their height without the resolve. And because we are so empathic as humans, let alone spiritual beings, we literally see ourselves in those different situations. And then it's almost like we are in that right now. And we start getting stressed out about what isn't even our problem. I was joking with my friend here, and we've been living in Bali for the past 6 months now. And it's so beautiful here. And it's like, literally, we were like looking back on our lives from a year ago when we were both in LA, and like, we're literally living our dream. Like, we're best friends in our 30s. We have a gorgeous villa here, like dancing, singing, jungles, like creativity. I'm writing my next book, so many things, but we catch ourselves constantly going into this happening, that happening. And we got to remind ourselves, but that's not our experience. Like, we're stressed out about things, and not just world things. Oh, my ex is actually doing this. Why are we concerned? Oh, well, this person's doing that. Why are we concerned? And so really what we need to feel more peace, more joy, more abundance is to reclaim our power and to actually focus on what is ours. And I know that that can feel very selfish. Oh, but if I am not concerned about what's happening in other parts of the world, that means I don't care. That means I'm disconnected. That means I'm spiritual bypassing, right? However, and I really go in depth on this in my last solo cast, if we are so consumed with what is happening in the rest of the world, we actually lose sight of the thing that we can actually create a solution for, which is our soul's mission, our dharma. So that person who's here to create a new school system never does so because they're so concerned with trying to figure out what's happening in the world and end up really doing nothing about it. That person that is here to help women heal after giving birth and come back into their bodies and create a more cohesive family unit is never able to do that because she's trying to be a good person by reading all of these things on social media and not actually doing anything. So again, the consciousness that we see is a disassociation. So disassociation is probably the biggest problem I'm seeing right now because most of us have a third arm, which is our phone. And we're literally tied to this thing. Like even myself, like I was getting my hair done and they were like washing my hair and I like felt the need to bring my phone. I'm like, why am I bringing my phone here? I can't listen to music. I'm not going to be like tech. It's 5 minutes. Let the man wash your hair in peace. It feels good. But we're so attached to our phones and they feel like these lifelines. It's like our friends live in there and our work is there and our social time. It's like, you know how they say like, don't eat in bed. Don't hang out in bed all day. Your bed should just be for sleeping. What about for our phones? We're putting everything in our lives. You want to order food, your phone. You want to work out, your phone. You want to have a deep conversation, your phone. You want to meet someone new, your phone. And so we're so attached to these things that we're constantly disassociating rather than looking at where we're at. And I want us right now to take a moment, look at where you are, look at this room. What colors do you see? What textures do you see? I want you to notice something about the room that you didn't notice before. What are the sounds that you're hearing right now? What are the smells that you may be smelling? What's the temperature like? And how are you sitting or standing? And where do you feel any connection with a chair or the floor in your body? And take a moment to close your eyes and just breathe. Notice how you're breathing. Without trying to change anything, just notice the pattern of your breath. Notice where it's coming from, how shallow or deep it is. And notice any thoughts that have been circulating around your mind for the past 10 minutes or so. Any repetitive thoughts that are coming up, just acknowledge them. They're there, okay? And notice any emotions that you're feeling. What do you feel in your heart? Maybe there's just an underlying anxiety. Maybe an impatience. Maybe a Sahara, start talking fast again. Maybe you don't really know. Just notice. Take a deep breath. So you just became embodied. To be embodied is to be in the state of the body, to be aware of the present moment, to be in your experience, in the space and time, in the human costume that you're in. And it is the antidote for disassociation. What our phones do is it throws us into a completely different reality that we are not a part of, and then causes our body to start to respond, just like when we're watching a scary movie, we tense up and get afraid. It's the same thing happening on social media. Our bodies are responding to the stimulus as if it's happening to us, but it's very confusing because it keeps changing. Every 2 seconds, the reel keeps changing. It's romantic, now it's sad, now it's a puppy, now it's this, now it's that. And the algorithm starts to get to know you of what will you spend more seconds watching? Oh, if we play this really sad video of abandoned dogs, she's definitely going to spend more time here. Keep sending them to her. Oh, if we send these videos of, babies and how time goes so quickly, that will definitely bring up her mom guilt. Send those over. And so we're literally living in the algorithm of life. of the things that we give a little bit more focus of our energy and attention to start to show up more. And so because we're so disconnected to how we feel, we give our energy towards the things that we can feel the most. This is why people like scary movies. Do we enjoy being scared? No, we actually don't. It's not a pleasant feeling for the body. However, it's a feeling. And when you don't feel anything, at least it makes you feel something. At least it makes you feel somewhat alive. And that's the same psychology of people who are cutting themselves even. They know it's wrong, but it makes them feel in that moment something. And so when we aren't attuned to how we are feeling in present moment time, even if it's just, I don't know, I feel a little bored. Even if it's just, I feel a little anxious. When we start to do that, we don't need to get to these gross states where we haven't felt anything for so long that we need a massive stimulant. We need to scroll through TikTok and disassociate for 3 hours. We need to keep going on the dating app and keep going and going and going. We're not even really looking at people at this point. It's just the monologue in our head. I'm going to die forever. I'm going to die alone. I'm going to die alone. There's no one for me. So oftentimes when we go into those spiral states, we've already disassociated. And when we're disassociated, I want you to literally think of your spirit has left your body. You are not present in your reality. You're disembodied. And so when you're disembodied and you're not in your body, what comes through? You're opening yourself up for whatever energy that you're exposing yourself to. And so when people talk about entities, I don't see entity necessarily as like a demonic thing or something. I see it as thought forms. I see it as ideas. I see it as constructs, belief systems, structures. And so the entity of pornography, there's so many entities of like shame and power dynamics. And I mean, I would say that's probably the biggest way that a lot of really low vibration entities or thought forms come into people's consciousness and latch on and then become them. And as we know, our consciousness is like a sponge. So whatever we watch, whether it is a movie or a reel, but even whatever conversations we have and whatever we entertain, even though we know, oh, that was just a movie, that was just a reel, that was just my friend's life I was talking about, our mind doesn't know the difference. And so it thinks I'm in that situation, our body responds, and then it starts to create from that memory. You are programming yourself with new memories. You are giving yourself memories that you did not actually have. And so you're actually creating trauma for yourself. Like, have you guys ever ended up on the Instagram of like the crimes? Oh God, I don't know how I've ended up there, but it's happened several times. And it's like videos of like the person's camera at the door and it's like this perpetrator knocking on their door and it's like freaking scary stuff. And you're thinking, I gotta watch this to stay informed. I gotta know what's happening. I gotta stay open, woke, whatever. And then you're putting in the memory of someone breaking into your house. And then guess what happens? You start to walk through life like that. Is someone going to break in? Is that going to happen? And then what happens when you're putting that out all the time? You're literally manifesting that situation happening. And what's crazy is myself, I had a lifelong fear of someone breaking into my home. That was a lifelong fear since I was a kid because I lived in the middle of the woods. So if we ever saw a car go by our house, it was like a very big deal. And we would all like go to the door and be like, who's there? Because it was a dead end. And so I grew up being really afraid of like people coming near my home, because if they came near my home, that means they wanted to. There's no other way. So I grew up like that. And once when I was a little kid by myself, someone did enter our home and it was very, very scary for me. So I had that imprint of like, and like reoccurring nightmares of like me, and our house had a bunch of like different doors in different places. And this reoccurring nightmare of these like pirates and perpetrators trying to come into my house. And I'm trying to lock all the doors and I'm not able to lock them in time. And so that was a conscious fear that I had. And so that was a program running. That was an entity within myself. And then what happened? 2 years ago, I was living in London and my place got broken into. So again, I had to live through that experience. But what I did now with this awareness that I had is I used what I call the triple E method on myself, which I'll be sharing more about. So instead of just like, oh my God, see, it's so dangerous, even my place got broken into, even more cause for fear, I decided to go into it. I decided to once and for all feel the fear, emote, embody what was alive in me, embody, and then express, turn it into something beyond me, share it, voice note it, write poetry about it. And then I was able to actually finally, after I was 33 years old at that time that happened, release it from my system. And I don't have that fear anymore. And I thought after, I'm never going to live in a house. I always have to live somewhere the doorman's super high security. I'm so scared. After I released it, no, totally fine. And so I share this because we are imprinting ourselves with so many false memories, and most of them are negative ones, because the way the algorithms work is people with our negativity bias focus on the things that are negative, scary, controversial, jarring in some kind of way. And so we go on social media, those are going to be the first things that we see because of our innate negativity bias and fear. Because look, if we look at it from an evolutionary perspective, if there was a perpetrator going around the village, you wanted to know about it. So it made sense for you to know about it. But the difference is now I'm watching videos of someone that lives in Tennessee, which is on the other side of planet Earth from me, and it actually has nothing to do with my experience. Now, does that mean that I don't know about things? No, know about things. Stay safe, stay alert and aware. However, me doom scrolling is very different from me just taking a little piece of awareness. Oh, this thing could happen. Now, what do I actually do action-wise to stay safe? Because I bet you most of the people who are scrolling on those things still don't know self-defense, still would have no idea what to do in those situations. So we're thinking me watching this thing is going to keep me safe from it happening, but it's actually doing the opposite. Again, disassociation. And the same thing happens with relationships. We see all these different stories. Oh my God, this woman, she got pregnant with this guy and they were in love and then he left her pregnant and that's going to happen to me too. And then again, we're putting these memories within ourselves. Everyone's life is different. Everyone's karma is different. And so much of it is pre-written and pre-planned based on their soul's lessons. So yeah, that thing did happen and we can learn from those experiences and see ourselves in it, but it doesn't mean that because it happened to someone else, it's guaranteed to happen to me. And so we have accumulated so much karma, so much of other people's experiences that we don't even know what's ours. Most of what you are likely stressed out about are other people's problems. What do you think about that? What have you been stressed about recently? Oh, well, my boyfriend's sister is doing this. I really don't like that. Oh, well, my mom is that and she should be this. Oh, my brother. Oh, my friend. Is it even your life? And I share this because there's a huge feeling of peace that happens as a result. When you realize that most of your problems are you thinking about other people's problems. And guess what? Those people don't want you to think about your problems. I don't want people to be stressed out about my life's problems. It has nothing to do with them. And them being stressed out about it doesn't make them a better person. It doesn't absolve me from my problems. We think, oh, I'm going to connect with you in that way. It doesn't. I'd actually rather be surrounded by people who are holding their vibration. So even when I come with a certain heaviness, they're bringing a higher frequency that elates me and raises my consciousness when I'm around them. I don't want people to be tossing and turning at night because of my life. Would you? And so I share this because we have become so enmeshed, not just in our friends, but strangers' lives on social media. And the solution is embodiment. So what is embodiment? To be in a state of the body. So embodiment is the physicality of the body. What do I feel in this moment? What's my body's position? Am I upright? Am I hunched forward? Do I feel expansive? Do I feel contractive? Where do I feel pain in my body? Where do I feel tension? So the physicality of the body is level one. And we really go into where you feel things in your body. So left side, right side, masculine, feminine, your knees, it's about support. Every single part of your body has a specific message that it's speaking to you. So anything that we get in life, any pain, disease, discomfort, is always a symbology of something deeper. And I really dedicated the first 10 years of my life's work to Ayurveda, which is a huge science in this. And so when we start to be able to speak the language of the body, we start to see that it's not that my body, oh God, why am I always tired all the time? Why am I always bloated? Why do I always have the worst acne? Why do I get cold sores? Why do I get yeast infections? Why is my period always late? There's a reason why. And it is psychosomatic. And deeper than that, it is related to a disgruntling in your soul. And so the body's speaking to us. It's giving us signals in the way that we can understand best, which is the physicality, because we're here in the 3D form. So we've got the body, but we've also got the heart, the emotions. You know, like when you can just wake up, you just feel something's a little bit off. You don't know what it is, but you're just like, you're not as like bright and sparkly and shiny as you normally are. But then most of the time we just, drink more matcha, just go harder at the gym, just try to change it instead of going into it and listening to it. And it's just like unknotting a necklace. When you just keep it in your bag, that necklace you have in your bag, it just keeps getting worse and worse. And you're like, oh my God, I don't even know where to start with you. You really want to wear the necklace, but too much work. If you've ever not unknotted something, it's not about like knowing what you're going to do. Sometimes it's just the littlest thing. You're just creating more space. Just create more space. Just create more space, and it will unknot itself. And that's what embodiment does. It creates more space in your nervous system. So you can start to unknot those tense and tight and constricted emotions that you are feeling. That rejection that you have felt since you were 13 years old when your crush didn't like you back, and it's accumulated for so long and manifested in choosing emotionally unavailable guys and wondering why they don't see you and choose you. Well, only until you can untie that thread of that inner rejection that you feel and really feel into, what does it feel like to feel rejected? Where do I feel that in my body? What does my body want to do when I feel rejected? Where does that live in my body? What sensation does it give me? Maybe it's in the pit of my stomach. It's this dark, murky, heavy feeling. Okay, can I take it out? What does it look like? What color does it have? What texture does it have? Now imagine I could talk to this energy I've just removed from outside of myself, this energy of rejection. What does it have to say? Let's ask it, why are you here? And we can even coach back and forth with this energy that was living inside of ourselves. And then that rejection, it has a message. These energies are in us because they believe that they keep us safe. When I was like 13 years old, I had a huge crush on this guy. I won't name him in case he ever listens to the podcast, which I doubt he will. But anyway, I had a huge crush on this guy. He never liked me back. And I had a crush on him like throughout middle school, throughout high school. We never dated. Nothing ever happened. But I was since when I remember when I was 13, I would like take the yearbook and I would try to move the pages to put our pictures next to each other to imagine what we would look like as a couple. And there was this song. Well, it's going to give away his last name now. Anyways, the song is called Miss Jackson by Outkast. And I used to love this song because that was his last name. And so I was like playing that song and thinking about how big my crush was on this guy and our pictures in the yearbook, but he never liked me. Did I ever tell him I liked him? No, I never told him. In fact, he started dating my friend. And so that rejection wound lived in me for a really, really long time. I didn't actually think about it. It never showed up in my life. I was in relationships. I even got married. Never thought about it until after my divorce, when this feeling of unrequited love started to come back. And I started to feel like this person that I liked didn't like me. They weren't choosing me. And it was like my response to it was a lot bigger than one's response. In life, sometimes you like people, they don't like you back, you move on. But this specific person, something about them, I was like, how could they be rejecting me? Don't you know we're twin flames? Don't you know I'm your soulmate? Don't you know we're meant to co-create an album together? Like that is how my nervous system was responding. And so we know that if you are responding in a more hyper way to something, there is something there to be healed. And so when I really went back into how I felt this unrequited love, when was the first time I felt that way? I started doing this triple E method on myself. I was feeling that feeling. The first time I felt that way was the rejection when I was 13 years old. And this boy not liking me back was living in my body. And I was actually going through life trying to manifest another situation where that would happen again so I could finally complete that cycle. And so I went into the method, Triple E. This is my method that I now teach at our Highest Self Institute Embodiment certification. So the Triple E method, let's dive into it now. We're ready for it. I just revealed my crush. Please, if he's listening, just DM me. Actually, you can DM me. So the Triple E method, first, emote. Feel the feeling. Feel what's real for you, whether it is that rejection wound, whether it is crying, I'm going to be alone for the rest of my life with fucking cats forever, whether it is, I am so fucking tired of being disappointed in these men. They always let us down. Whether it is, oh my God, I am so angry at my mother. Why is she telling me what to do? Whether it is, oh, my dad he's never even a man. Whatever it is, maybe it's all of those things at different times of the day. I want you, whatever is alive for you, especially in the morning when it's raw and it's coming up to be, because when we sleep, it's like all of those subconscious thoughts come to the surface to be healed. That's what our dreams are. It's a unpatterning of it. So I want you in the morning, feel what's there, emote. And we teach you how. If you're like, how do I feel the thing? We really guide you in how, because most of us, we have no idea how to feel our feelings. Like, isn't it crazy that I learned about I don't know, the Pythagorean theorem? I never was taught how to feel my feelings. Like, isn't that freaking crazy? So how to feel your feelings, how to actually give yourself a ceremony where you can fully feel your rage, your anger, your sadness, whatever is alive for you. So you can finally no longer have to hold them. Because the angriest people are the people who never fully felt their anger. So if you have a parent that they're snapping at every single little thing, or you see, the Karens out in the world are always just so aggravated, it's because there is a deep anger that has been living inside of them for decades. And they've never given themselves the ceremony of fully feeling that thing to be completed. So it's looking for every single little potential opportunity it can to feel at least a little ounce of it. Like, I want you to imagine a tea kettle, and there's all of this vapor that's like coming out. It's ready. The water's boiling. And so these angry people, they have all this water erupting inside of them. It's like a volcano, but they don't let themselves just take off the top of the spout and release it. Instead, they go tiny little hole. Oh, someone cut me off in traffic. Oh, someone walked in front of me. They're just looking for whatever they can to release some of it. Instead, just take the lid off. Yeah, the smoke will go crazy for a couple seconds, and then guess what? It'll be gone. And then you can drink your tea. So this is why we start with emote. This is essential to the embodiment. We can't bypass our way through healing. We can't just say affirmations, everything's going to be great. I can't just meditate and go into internal stillness when I'm fucking livid. It's not going to happen. I can't just, dance my doshas and my chakras when I am feeling like absolute shit. I have to be honest with how I feel. And right now, I feel like punching something. Right now, I feel like fucking crying until the end of time. I have to let myself feel that. Because if I don't feel it now, guess what? I'm going to have to keep feeling it for fucking ever. So let yourself feel it first. After emote, we go into embody. Embody, to bring the body into motion. So it doesn't need to be even physical moving. It can literally just be feeling where you feel that in your body. When I feel that rejection, I feel a pit in my stomach. It's this never-ending black hole that no man will ever love me. Or maybe it is an arm ring that you've created around your heart. They will not hurt me again. Or maybe it's just this collapse of just like, I can't do anything. Everything is so overwhelming. I just want to collapse into my couch and have no one ever contact me again. And so first with Embody, it's a twofold method. You embody what it is that you are feeling. And then once you've given it the mic, it shifts. And I share with you more so how. And then you start to embody how you want to feel. I want to feel held. I want to feel surrendered. I want to feel open. You start to use your body, and the body naturally starts to move into this place when you released what it is that you were holding on to. So maybe you start to dance what it feels like to feel sensual and blissful and radiant, and then your mind follows. And then from there, the last E is express. We begin to express what is coming alive for us. So maybe a voice note where we're just channeling what is coming through, or maybe a free-flowing page in our journal, or maybe we write a poem or a song, or we play the guitar, or we dance, or we tone, or we play the sound bowls, but something to give that energy an expression, because that is how we create art from our pain. And when we can create art from our pain, something beautiful that would not have existed without that pain, it becomes so worthwhile. And then that shitty thing that happened to you is no longer so shitty because it was the catalyst of who you became. And that is the Triple E method. It was what I created to heal myself after my divorce. And we've gone on to train hundreds of embodiment coaches in this method at our certified embodiment certification at Highest Self Institute, my school. So if you are interested and curious, I've created a free 3-day embodiment mini course. So I share more about what embodiment is, diving deeper into the Triple E method. And then you actually see me live coaching someone with the method in real life. So you're actually able to see yourself as a certified embodiment coach. Because if you're listening to this podcast, you're here for a reason. Like you are not no basic bitch. Like this is not for the muggles here. We're going deep, and not just like in the mind, but like in the body, in the womb, in the soil, in the dirt. Because that is where all transformation happens. It's in the void and in the darkness that the seed of light is created. And so if you are feeling the call to dive deeper into your own spiritual practice, into your own healing, and you want to do it in a more feminine way that invites in your whole self, then the Certified Embodiment Program is for you, whether you're doing it for your own healing or you feel called to actually create a potential career for yourself as a certified embodiment coach. So this program used to be 3 months, and I've now extended it to 6 months. I run it live, so I'm with you every single week in the Q&A calls. We've limited it to only 50 people this year. So it's going to be our smallest class size ever. So I'm going to personally be able to get to know you and answer your questions. We're going to be doing laser coaching. And then we also have our modules that you can watch at any time. Like, in the podcast, I do a little tiny microdoses of teaching. This is like where it all comes through. So you have the modules as well as the master coaches on my team and the peer coaching. So the peer coaching is where you're going to practice the methodology every single week. So if we're talking about the 5 personality patterns, you're going to be practicing coaching with them. If we're talking about the nervous system, you're going to be coaching with the nervous system. If we're talking about the inner child, inner teenager, you're going to be coaching that and receiving the coaching in real time. Because I'm all about kinesthetic learning. I feel the best way to learn something is to just do it and throw ourselves in. And then with that, imagine the radical shifts you'll make by receiving and coaching every single week for 6 months. Imagine just how confident you would feel. Imagine the difference with how you will show up through life. Just the way that you walk through a room, your body image, the way that you see yourself. Imagine the difference of the conversations you have and the people that magnetizes and attracts in your life. Imagine the difference in your relationships and the polarity that increases. Imagine the abundant career you can have as a certified embodiment coach, which, by the way, many of our students have gone on to create 6-figure practices. And we teach you step by step. And this is why we've enhanced it to be now a 6-month program. I'll be teaching you how to price, how to make offers, how to talk to people on DMs about what you do. And actually the latest on what I see works for coaches, who many of our coaches, as soon as they are graduating, are able to create full-time careers for themselves as certified embodiment coaches. And this is why from the get-go, from week 1, you start putting everything into practice. So it's not information, you graduate, now figure it out on your own, but rather you are embodying it yourself from week 1. So by the time it's been 6 months, you've been doing it for 6 months. And also we even teach you how to start coaching people while you're in the training. So you can take that practice and then come to the laser coaching sessions and the pods and say, this week I had this kind of experience with this kind of client. I'm curious, what could I have done differently? How can I go even deeper? So you're getting the real-time feedback as you are coaching. And this Does not exist in any other certification. I know I see those ads too. Oh, $60 get certified in whatever. And it's like 6 videos that an AI both wrote and said with no human on the other side. Again, whatever we put into something is what we receive. And I am here to actually create masterful coaches. Because I know right now in this disassociated, crazy world, that is what we need. Because ChatGPT is not a very good life coach if you haven't noticed yet. It's just going to reaffirm whatever you think. So if you're having an anxious spiral, it's going to say, you're right, babe. He's totally playing you. And whatever you think, it will just say it back because it's a little teacher's pet. I'm sorry, chat, don't come for me in the apocalypse, but it's good for some research things, but I would not put the biggest decisions on your life on that. And by the way, they're not going to come from the mind. They're going to come from the body. Because if your fear and hatred of men is still living in your body, you're going to keep manifesting more reasons to fear and hate men. If you feeling unheard and unseen from your mother is still living in your body, guess what? You're going to keep manifesting friendships where you feel unseen. If you keep holding on to the generational poverty consciousness that is living in your being, guess what? No matter how much money you make, the poverty consciousness, the debt, the not knowing where your money went will follow. So I share this because the mind cannot solve the mind's problems. We need to go deeper. We need to go into the body. We need to go into the emotions. We need to finally let go of what we're holding on to so we can have fucking fun. So we can joke, we can play. Like I literally wake up and, once I do my triple E method, I am laughing. Like today, oh my God, I did the funniest thing, but we can talk about it. So on my Instagram stories, if you don't follow me on Instagram, I feel like my stories is like where I share more of the quirky side of my personality. So I was like, let's do a little Q&A. I was like, ask me any question. Everyone's like, have you found a man? Are you in a relationship? Are you single? What's going on? And I'm extremely single. And so I was just like, you know what, guys? I am single, but I am open to getting set up by any of you guys. Please insert your contestants. You know what? A girl's got to do what a girl's got to do, okay? So I put that in there. Why not? I saw that Instagram go viral about that girl in like Kentucky or something and seems to be doing well for her. So I was like, okay, guys, shoot your shots. And who was being suggested to me? Just the guys on this podcast. As if never thought of that one. And these are people that it's like, I would never have any kind of polarity with them because we're like the same people. So, I mean, we're here, so I'll name names. So the 3 main people that kept coming up were Andre DeCoom from Know Thyself podcast, Robert Grant, who is 24 years older than me, and Aaron Dowdy, who's like soul bro, but like we're the same person. Everyone's like putting in a variation of these 3 people. And so I decided to make a joke of it. I tagged them. I was like, guys, let's do a Love Island Spiritual Edition. The contestants are Aaron Dowdy, Andre DeCoom, and Robert Grant. And I tagged them. I'm like, are you guys in? And they were like, yes, we are in. Obviously, we're all joking here. I went from feeling a little off that morning to like laughing. And then I actually wrote a list of games that we could play on this show. And you guys tell me any other fun game ideas you have. So the first one is Tantra eye gazing contest. Who can eye gaze the longest? While piercingly gazing into one another's souls without blinking, preferably. So guys, out of those 3, who do you think will win that one? The next one I thought of is blindfold, feel your twin flames energy contest. So we are blindfolded and we're all 4 in a room and you have to feel the energy of your twin flame, and whoever finds me and I find them, then we'll know, like, it's everything Oceana promised us and more. Okay, so the next one that I thought of is a telepathy contest. So we have to just be looking at each other, but we can't say any words. And then first, maybe we send each other numbers, like, what number am I thinking of right now? And then we can send each other like colors. And then we can go into like animals. I actually played this telepathy game in my Manifest Your Magic series, which is here on YouTube. But, you got to have a telepathic relationship with this person. We are moving into 5D, so that's the next one. And then the last one I thought of, which I think is going to be the most meaningful, is who can hold space for the deep, divine feminine rage. And so I will rage on behalf of all of the trauma of the divine feminine, all of the ways that the womb has been commodified, and all of the generational patriarchy and betrayal and abuse and suffering that has been caused at the hands of men. And I will channel that energy and we will see who holds the strongest, yet most emotionally available and present and empathic divine masculine container. And he shall be knighted, the king. So I actually then shared all of these ideas on my Instagram story and tagged them again. Yeah, that's where I go. And guess what? It was so much fun. And now like we're just laughing and I'm like, what other ideas? And like people are sending me ideas and it's just like, it's the best. Like life is so fucking rigid sometimes. It's like, laugh through it. We're all gonna die. Play, enjoy. The whole point of these practices is so you don't have to practice. You can just be, you could just have fun. Like I really believe the purpose of life like is to have fun. Like enjoy your freaking time here. We're not here forever, boo. And we worked real hard as souls to come down here. So enjoy your time, but it makes it really hard to enjoy our time when we're holding on to all the bullshit. So it's like, you got to warm up before the reps, right? You got to warm up. You got to emote, embody, and express. You got to dust off your shoulder and then get back into the game. And so the way that we can actually authentically be our most joyful, exuberant, fun selves, people are like, how are you always like laughing and dancing and smiling? Because I'm not afraid of the shadows, bitch. I'm not afraid of the shadows. I'm not afraid of feeling. If something's alive for me, if there's a hard conversation I need to have, if there's something present in my being, I emote, I embody, I express, I'm cleared, I'm back to working on the ecstatic dance floor. And that's what I want for you too. I want you to be free. I want you to be liberated. That is essentially why we are here. Liberation, moksha, to be free from all of the samskaras, all of the karmas, all of the suffering, and just to like experience the full spectrum of being alive. Because guys, it is a gift to be here. But when we're so caught up in the problems and we're in that disassociated state, which is funny because we go on Instagram and these apps because we want to have fun. But actually, instead of feeling what's present for us, we suppress and it lodges inside of us. And then we're like, I just scrolled and I watched funny reels for 3 hours. And why do I not feel any happier? Guys, do you know what I do when I see these pranks on Instagram? I do them. I do the pranks. So this prank was this guy put up a bunch of pictures of his dad and like taped them over a bed and texted his dad saying, someone just sent me this picture. And it's like a picture of all of his dad's photos taped on a wall over a bed. And the dad's like, it was like this Nigerian father. He's like, who sent this to you? He was like, I don't know, Dad, but I think you have a stalker. And the dad sending him voice notes. He's like, what? I rebuke in the name of Christ. Who is that? I'm going to call the police right now. And it was so funny. I was like, I need to do this to my mom. Like, I need to do this to her. And so I asked chat, I said, create an image of someone texting me saying that they just saw this picture and use like a Boston number. And so chat made a text message picture of someone sending me the picture of her photos on the wall from a Boston number. And I sent that to her and I was like, see, someone texted it to me. My mom, she's smart. She zoomed in on that one. She was like, there's a difference of my pictures in that first picture you sent me and that second one that you did. I was like, and so I had to really go along with it. I was like, Mom, like, I don't know why this person is obsessed with you and they keep like putting different versions of you on their wall. Like, this is really scary. And she was not falling for it at all. Like, I should actually post the thing. She was like, I know this is you. Okay. I know you have something to do with it. I was like, Mom, like, I would not have gone through the lengths of printing out your pictures at the printing shop and doing all of this. Like me, I'm in Bali. I don't even have a printing shop here. She's like, I know somehow you did this. And it was just the funniest thing. And it made my entire afternoon. And like, you know, like those videos, like when you do stories, just like rewatching your own stories, it gave me the best entertainment for that whole day. Like every single time I do these things, I am laughing. And so why did we go here? Again, embodiment. Embodiment is the state of being present. It's like you can take something on social media, actualize it in your life, whether it's a prank, whether it is a quote, whether it is a dance routine. Like, I just want us to get out of the zombie consciousness that we've gotten into as a society, that we're just like, whoa, watching people live their lives. I think it started with the whole reality TV thing of like, I'm going to watch people live their lives while sitting here and not living my own. Bitch, live your best life. The time is now. Do crazy shit, make memories, move, send that risky text, do the damn thing. the worst that can happen is you got a story. And stories are fun. So I share this because the gift on the other side of embodying things is you just stop giving a fuck so much. And I feel like that's the gift of aging. The things that bothered me so much in my 20s and even when I first became single and started dating, I don't care at all anymore. Because when you go into shadow work, okay, what's the worst thing that could happen? I live alone with a bunch of animals. Sounds ideal to me. Like, oh no, don't make me do that. Live alone in Bali with a bunch of animals. Please, no. Would love that. And so when you're not afraid of the worst thing, you're free. And you can start to laugh. And you can start to have fun. And the things don't bother you so much. You can let your cellulite jiggle as you jump off the waterfall. And you can say that flirty thing to someone, even though you don't know how it's going to land. And you can just be your freaking self. And then once you start to do that, you're like, damn, like, I wish I did this sooner. It's all in divine timing. You're here right now for a reason, but I want this for you. I want you to actually just like clear the heaviness and the stuckness. And we go really, really deep into shadow work of this, but like the reason why we are so afraid of what people think, we're so trying to be liked by people, it's just because we're so afraid of what happens on the other side. So when you go into it, you feel it. You're no longer beholden to it anymore. And that is the gift of this method. So doors are open right now to become a certified embodiment coach at my school. I'm teaching it live every single week, 50 people tops. It's going to be amazing. And I have my free 3-day embodiment course. So head over to the show notes. It's the first thing. Put in your email. You're going to get the course. You're going to learn more about embodiment, learn more about the Triple E method, and then see me actually using this method in a one-on-one coaching. It's deep, it's profound, and it's revolutionary. There is nothing else out there like this. We are the only school. This is a method I channeled through and is only available here. And Highest Self Institute, my school, is the premier certification school. So if you're actually looking for a robust training in whether it is our embodiment certification, our spiritual life coaching, Dharma, or soul business mastery, we got you, boo. We really like to dive in and also make it fun and playful because that's what it's all about. So you can find those links in the show notes. I'm super excited to see you there. Thank you for dropping in with me. Let's just take a breath together and drop back into the body, shall we? Feels good, don't it? All right. Thank you again for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next episode.
Trust your intuition, trust your inner wisdom, trust your inner guidance, close your eyes and listen. Surrender, let go, surrender, let go. So trust your intuition, trust your inner wisdom, trust your inner guidance, close your eyes and listen.